So, yep, I had a friend use mods. That's right. All I had him do was bring my current gear level and my tiers on all of my characters to 40 and 75. If you're paying attention, I got them all legit to 30, 65, and you know what? I was bored of it. There's nothing to do in this game, and I'm not about to grind the tiers anymore. You know, screw the devs now. I don't care. So, he offered him, like, if it's free, I'm like, he was willing to do a lot of stuff for me free. I'm like, okay. I don't care then. I still want to play legit as possible, but if you can let me just skip that grind of leveling your gear and tier, oh, absolutely. Okay. So I did that, and he also, if you noticed, I have a one-shot pistol. And I mostly just use it on this dude, because I'm going to explain, especially in the next video, this build, this is, of course, everything's still legit. You know me, I prefer playing that way still, but I still like to have a one-shot modded gun. Or mostly, it's not really one shot, but mostly, you know, a few shots with an auto pistol. So, just to take out annoying stuff. Once I beat it the legit way, I have no desire to beat it again the legit way, because why would anyone anymore? Especially with the stuff in the trial, so it's mostly for that. But you'll see me do everything legit in these next two videos, of course. But yeah, this video, I mean, this guy's basically a super... honestly, he really is a super tank dev. And he is amazing everywhere in this game, with the one exception, and I'll explain it in the next video, but it is these stupid sheep arbiters. Now, I can tweak him so he can still beat them legit, but that's another reason why he has my modded gun, because it's like, I'll kill him the legit way the first time, all the other times, nope, one tap him, I'm out of there, give me the loot. To make a my plan now is to make another Devastator build that is only tweaked to just destroy the Arbiter. That's what I want to do, is just have a dev build only for the Arbiters. If my other classes do fine, you've seen them. They can still, I mean, yeah, there's better builds out there for dealing with the Arbiter than their build is, but they can still do it fine. But this guy, this dev I'm on, he struggles an insane amount against the Arbiters, and he's died too. And it's mostly because, you know what, let me just explain it now, and then I'll show the next video. And of course I'm fighting on front line because, you know, it's the fun expedition. Moloch, as I still stand by, is the best boss, because he's the most fair boss in this game, while still being challenged. Like, he's a boss who tests your build. The Arbiter doesn't test your build, he just breaks your build, especially as I've learned on this dude. The reason is, I mean, I can go into Eye of the Storm on this dude and carry people and still be a ridiculous tank. If you're noticing why I'm such a big tank, they've buffed Reflect Bullets, and I think they also fixed it in a sense, because I noticed Reflect Bullets actually heals me based off skill leech, which by the way, it did not do that before World Slayer. That's another reason I never used Reflect Bullets. Reflect Bullets before World Slayer was mostly just only good for gun users, and that was pretty much it. It didn't help virtually at all with melee, and it also didn't even really help you tank much. It didn't really absorb any damage from what I could tell. When you had auto reflect on. Now I know auto reflect nerfs the damage mitigation you get from it, but it's still set, it's 50%, so it should still protect you from 50%, right? And also because auto reflect is just, if you're going to use reflect bullets, it is a necessity to have auto reflect, because it just, if you don't have it on, it just turns it into an annoying, just very situational skill where you're not even going to use it half the time, if not more than half the time, and you just use it for special situations. And I'm like, what's the point of having a bunch of mods for reflect bullets and have your build around that skill and not have auto reflect? Like, you need it. So, but I can tell now, reflect bullets does mitigate damage now. It actually is another tanking dev move now. And it heals you based off skill. So I've noticed whenever people, if I have half my health bar, and then someone shoots at me with reflect bullets up, I immediately gain it back without even shooting my guns yet, because it's healing me too. So reflect bullets has now become a very good Devastator tank skill. And as you see, I didn't need Perseverance. I don't need any of that because I learned the best way to do this build is it's just like my statue build. If you remember my statue build before World Slayer, by the way, the statue set is still broken. Otherwise, I feel like if they ever fix statue sets, that will be my go-to Arbiter killing one. My tank Arbiter one. I mean, the go-to right now is just bleed build dev because it just still does the most damage and still heals you the most. And as I've said before, healing is the absolute only thing that helps you with the Arbiter Dark Armaments crap. There's nothing in this game that helps you except leech healing. That's it. This bull crap, as I've said many times. But that's also why I think statue build would be good, because it gives you an insane amount of... It still gives you a lot of extra weapon leech bonus. Combine that with weapon leech on your gun and the top trees, and you can still have max health. You get an insane amount of healing that way, just like my Techno does, and then he would be fine in the Arbiter. So that if they ever fix statue, that would be my go-to. That with Gravity Leap, again, would be perfect for dealing with the Arbiters. But this basically is like taking the place of that now. We're now, instead of alternating between Tremor and Golem and always having one of those things active, I now alternate between Reflect Bullets and Golem. And I prioritize Reflect Bullets since now I know it's better at protecting me. And I can tell it does do with the mods on it. Its damage, it still does way more damage with bullet enemies, but I can tell the damage it does with melee people is now much more improved. So it's still decent and worth still using. And it protects you from melee hits too. It still gives you mitigation from those. So it's very useful as a protection and damage on bullet enemies skill now. So I prioritize Reflect Bullets, and then I just have no mods for Golem, because it's like, I would have Rockfall, but as I've told you before, Rockfall does not work currently. Rockfall and Perseverance might be like the last two mods I'd want to slap on this dude, honestly, for his 15 mods in the future, whenever they fix Rockfall. But until they do, I don't really have much preference. The Earthquake, you saw I have an Earthquake mod on my boots. That's just because it came with it. I'm not even using Earthquake. So this guy is, I think he needs either 2 or 3 more mods right now. But everything I think he uses is finely tuned. I even have Plate Dodge to maximize my armor. And then Boulder Dash and Plate Dodge is just perfect because it really stacks up the armor with the military armor nodes too. I got the increase the close range and increase armor based off close range, and then the heirloom armor that gives me more armor for every kill, so it acts in even kind of a killing spree. And then I alternate between Reflect Bullets and Golem, so that Overwhelming Force is always going on. An Overwhelming Force is pretty good, mostly because it actually has a 10-meter radius, not a 5-meter radius. So it's a much better version of Thunder's Legacy, basically, that you can just always have permanently going. If you combine it then, Reflect Bullets and Golem are always on me. One of the two is always on me, and then I'm Boulder Dashing in between. I truly have max armor. I have 60% base resistance, and then my resistance goes up for every dude in close range. I have an increase to close range too. I don't have a crazy amount of health, but I still have a high health bar too. So you combine all of that, and then I have a weapon leech on my gun with damage over time mods, and I have the weapon leech bonus in the top tree too of the PAX tree. Combine all of that, and as you can see in what I'm seeing in every other expedition, in every other mission, in every other trial place I've gone to, this Devastator is like super tank. He actually is tanky. I can finally say my dev is tankiest again as the melee build. And most of his damage is just that stored damage. It's great because most of his damage is just stored, and it doesn't require me having anomaly power or even increasing my melee damage much, because my melee is just based off damage I take. So I learned I don't really need to invest a lot in melee because that damage it does is based off stored damage. So it's just Reflect Bullets, my Overwhelming Force, all of that. It's the damage on all 3 of my most important stuff does not rely on anomaly power or firepower. It's just enemy power really, and an armor rating. So that's what makes this really good. But in the next video I'll explain it more in the Arbiter, because what you're seeing is awesome. But I really was frustrated with this build because the Arbiters totally break it because none of his skills work.